It is time for Halloween movies. Hello and welcome to Book Hoarding with Bianca. I'm Bianca. Sometimes I talk about books. A lot of times I've been talking about costumes and sewing things lately. And I've been mostly doing Halloween sewing things. So don't forget to check that out. I have a whole 13 weeks of Halloween stuff planned, including this fun little video that is going to be all about the Halloween movies streaming on Disney Plus right now, because why not take a turn about some nostalgia? While you're here, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and show some love for this channel because I really appreciate it. I so appreciate you being here. If you're like me, you are beyond ready, if not knee deep in Halloween. You are already decorating, you're sewing costumes, you're planning costumes, you're buying stuff to decorate, you're buying stuff to make decorations, or buying stuff to make costumes. And you know what the best thing to do when you're doing any of that is? Watch some Halloween movies. Pop some Halloween things on, some spoopy things, and just get really into the season fully. So here are some Halloween movies that are currently streaming on Disney Plus. This is not going to be all encompassing. I'm going to talk about some of the highlights, and at the end give you the full list and link in the description to the full list of things that I put together. But is it really complete? No. Here's why. Disney is always adding new stuff because they're always acquiring other companies. So let me know your favorites if I didn't include them, and I will easily just add them to my list because I'm down to add things and it's pretty easy. That being said, it's never going to be complete because Disney is literally making new Halloween stuff to drop. So stay tuned for those things, and yeah, just keep having fun. So first up, we have to talk about Hocus Pocus. It is a classic for a reason. So playing this movie for me means it is the start of Halloween season. Thackeray Binks is cursed to be a cat, with some questions I always have every year about
how could Thackeray Binks be a cat and no one know that Thackeray Binks is a cat? But then they know the writer of Thackeray Binks is a cat. How do they know? He can't tell anyone. Anyway.
Regardless of my issues with the basic continuity errors within the first 15 minutes of this movie, it is a classic. Thackeray Binks is tasked with keeping the Saunderson sisters from coming back, and unlucky for him, a virgin does manage to light the evil spoopy candle, and all hell breaks loose. But it's a fun adventure, and it's kind of a classic at this point. This was originally released in 1993, and as of right now, there is finally going to be a sequel to this, as much as fans have been craving this and asking for this, and there was even a novelization of a kind of sequel-ish thing. We're actually getting a filmed sequel to this coming in 2022. So make sure that you watch this and get excited because there's actually going to be more Hocus Pocus coming. Next up is Halloweentown, another classic for some folks. If you didn't know, there are actually 4 Halloweentown movies now. When I first put out my list, a lot of people didn't even realize there were so many, so FYI, there are 4 out in the world. This is a yearly favorite for some people because they just had to take that journey back to Halloweentown, which you could actually make any time of year, but especially right now. This stars Debbie Reynolds, R.I.P. She was a great. She's the grandmother in this, and if her role doesn't give you this perfect mix of cozy Halloween feels, I don't know what's gonna do it. Halloweentown is this mystical place where all those classic Hollywood monsters like vampires and ghouls and mummies, all these things just coexist in harmony. They just exist, they live, they're fine. But of course, not everything can be fine all the time, which is where we get plot. So evils are afoot and everyone wants to come together and solve the things. Twitches. So Tia and Tamara Mowry are twins in this movie along with the sequel. The magical identical sisters are born on Halloween night and separated, and they grow up apart and then they find each other again, and that's when the kind of backtracking mystery things start coming together. It's really cool because you get to see people tap into a magical birthright, which I think is actually weirdly very D&D, right? Where most people in their D&D campaigns are a character that has a mysterious past they're trying to figure out. It's great. There's also a sequel, Twitches 2. A Nightmare Before Christmas is definitely on this list, as it will be on all people's Christmas lists, but I will have it here because it does take place in a Halloween-filled world. Well, I think this Tim Burton classic is probably single-handedly what kept Hot Topic afloat for many years. That's not a fact, that's just an opinion. There are other really cool things about this movie. It's stop motion, it has cool music, there's an interesting love plot-ish thing going on, but I'm going to tell you something that you should definitely do after you watch this, or even before you watch this again this year. Hop over to Netflix, yes, a different streaming service, and check out the holiday movies that made us. There's an episode on this that will change the way that you watch this movie forever, I promise. It goes into all these details, and the TLDR is that ladies kind of save this movie, and they clearly don't get enough credit for it. Okay, this next one is the classic made-for-TV after-school movie. Mom's got a date with a vampire. What do you do if your mom has a date with a vampire? That's literally what this whole thing is about. Which is like, not to say this is bad. I'm just saying it's fun. It's very much, you get what you get. Like, you know what you're getting into. And that's fine. It's a fun little romp. It's a made-for-TV horror, after-school horror level, right? So it's just like a fun thing to revisit, family-friendly. It definitely reminds me of those Bailey's School Kids-themed books that always have shenanigans afoot that the kids have to uncover and that the adults don't seem to believe. So it's just a really cool kind of like remix of a very standard plot, but it's fun. Haunted Mansion is both a ride at Disney and also a movie. If you haven't already watched, there is a Disney Plus show called Behind the Attraction, which goes into all the details about Haunted Mansion, the ride, and also how it's different internationally. If you don't already know, the ride is actually differently themed across the world and has had some tweaks to the story. So if you're a fan of the ride, check that out. If you have never seen this movie but you're a fan of ride, I don't know if you're gonna love this, but there are some call outs to the ride and all the lore there along the way. It's not, though, a complete copy paste of the ride. Like, it's definitely doing its own thing. I think it does some really cool stuff because it just takes you on a different kind of, quote, ride, if you will, through that haunted mansion that we are in. So it's a classic haunted mansion caper in the kind of not branded haunted mansion, just the wider world of haunted mansions, a la almost D&D, right? Like the Death House and Strahd. My favorite thing is that the costume designer for this film also designed some iconic clothes that you've seen in things like Clueless and Enchanted. Yes, Mona May has done really cool, interesting work across some favorite films of mine, and I think that if only for this, you should check it out. Now, did I put Into the Woods on here because it's a dark, twisted fairy tale? Because it has witches and evil things and wolves? Did I do it because it's got like music and high fantasy elements? No, I mostly did it because Chris Pine's on this. And the last one that I'm going to feature today is actually the worst thing I've ever seen in my whole life that I refuse to watch again because it's given me nightmares my entire existence. Return to Oz is streaming. Now, if you are looking to traumatize your whole family, please make sure that you're willing to pay for and find therapy for them before you make them watch this. Other than that, it is here for you to enjoy, should you enjoy such painful things, or subject your friends and family to. Make sure to warn them, because it's awful. It is terrifying. Please warn your friends. And now for the full list. So, reminder that I will have it linked in the description, and that link is the one I'll update. So if you have any additions to add, leave them in the comments and I will update them in my blog post. But for now, here's my quote full list of movies. We've got Hocus Pocus, all the Halloweentown movies, Twitches, Night Before Christmas, Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire, Phantom of the Megaplex, another really fun after school one, Frankenweenie, both versions, Return to Oz, Boo, Zombies, Scream Team, Girl vs. Monster, Haunted Mansion, Don't Look Under the Bed, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, The Black Cauldron, which is one of those debatable, is it Halloween or is it just cool and spoopy? Into the Woods, Maleficent, I believe there's also a sequel out on there, and Escape to Witch Mountain, I think there's also Escape from Witch Mountain. So, you know, have some fun. Watch some movies. And don't miss out on all of my Halloween content. From Halloween decor DIYs, like this coffin bookshelf insert that I made into a Strahd shrine. Or this really cool autumnal outfit that I'm working on that is based on vintage designs and clothing. I have lots of Halloween content coming down, so please do stick around. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and, let me know what movies I might have missed in the comments. Thank you for being here.